I do remember now.
Atiende.
Al palo, la masa no la dejo reposar para que se eleve, para que la luz.
Aquí está reposando.
Ah, sí está reposada.
Okay, well, let me just say a few things and then let me give a question. Okay, real quickly, let me give you the website that I buy a lot of my stuff through online. The stuff that you can't find is a really great resource. And it's called www.pleasanthillgrains. But you don't need to do that. Pleasant Hill Grains. Pleasant, Pleasant. Pleasant, P is in Peter. Pleasant Hill Grains.
Hill Grain?
Pleasant Hill Grains.
Hill Grain.
Okay. That's a company, I don't remember where they're out of, but you can buy pretty much anything that we talked about today, you can buy it through that website. Okay? You can buy the grinder, and they have several different kinds that you can actually research on that website to see which one you like better. You can buy the Bosch through that website, along with other mixers. They have different kinds. Huh?
Pleasant Hill Grain.
Oh.
Black would be better.
We don't have black. There we go.
Pleasant Hill Grains. PLESANTHILLGRAINS. PleasantHillGrains.com.
If you just look on their website, you can find all the things that you need. For example, like I said, they'll have this one, and they market this one very much. It's probably the most bought one because it's so easy to use, and everything is contained. It really works well. They even have a grinder that will go with your Bosch. That's actually only about $129. But it's only just an attachment that you put, and you have to turn it on the side, and then it has no encasing, so the flour goes
everywhere.
You have to kind of probably mill your stuff outside. But if you want to go cheaper, you can do that. But I decided this is way better.
Hay unos moledores de trigo que prácticamente tienen que hacerlo como si fuera afuera de la casa porque no lo deja como está aquí en un container, un recipiente, porque si no va a ser una regadera de harina al momento que está saliendo el polvo.
Okay, you can also find these pans. I've looked around here in the valley. I've not been able to find good pans. The ones you get at Walmart and those kind of things, they're junk. Put it that way.
Lo que agarran en Walmart prácticamente no son buenas.
They have different brands on that website. This is the one I chose to go with because it has the little corrugated sides, which lets the bread fall right out.
Lo que hace que ayuda a que el pan se salga fácilmente.
And this is the Norpro brand. You can get any brand, but this one I found it to be really good, so I bought all my pants in this brand because I liked it. It's called Norpro, N-O. Okay, and those are about $7 a piece. So it's like I said, it's a little bit of an investment, but those pans are going to last you for years. They're very good quality. And so I just found I had 2 of them that I bought at Walmart, and my bread always just never
Pleasant
turned
Hill
out right.
Grains is the website.
Sometimes it just, like the heat doesn't distribute properly, and it just never turned out right. And I'm like, forget it, I'm not messing with cheap pans anymore. I just went ahead and bought, 6 really good ones. Okay?
Norpro
They're about $7 a piece.
is for the little pans.
But you only need,
The
just
mold
depending on how many
pan for
loaves
the
of bread you
bread.
want to make at a time, or if you're only going to make a few loaves of bread and make pizza or other things, you just get what you want. Huh?
¿En dónde lo venden?
On that same website, you'll see.
En el mismo site de la internet. Okay.
So anyway, you can find this, your little bench knife. This allows you to, like, if your bread's sticking to the counter, it allows you to pull it up, to cut it. It's just a really nice little tool for the kitchen. You can find that there. And this is also, this is the one they have on their site.
Bench
This is
knife.
now the other resource I was going to give you. This is where I've learned to make bread the way that I just showed you today. Okay? This is called No More Bricks. Very nice.
Se llama No More Bricks.
No more
And this
bricks.
is by Lori Betts. I actually emailed her before I came here to ask her these questions because I was having some issues with some of the bread I was baking, and she's very good about even emailing you back and answering questions.
Ella contesta los emails que ustedes le contestan. Prácticamente antes de venir para acá ella le hizo unas preguntas con respecto a cocinar algunos panes.
What she talks about in this book is she gives you like a lot of explanation about whole grains.
Te da muchas explicaciones con respecto a los granos integrales.
She explains all the things that you need, like she has pictures, like
Tiene
your bench
fotos acá
knife
de
and
todos
all
los-
the different materials that you saw me use today.
Todos
It
los
kind of gives
materiales
you,
que usan aquí,
it gives you like she explains different types of pans. So this is where I learned
diferentes
everything I'm
tipos
teaching
de...
you. I learned.
Todo lo que les estoy enseñando prácticamente aprendí en este libro.
Laura Betts.
Laura Betts.
I'll write down. Because you can go on that website I just gave you and you can
En
find
la
this
página
book.
también pueden
It's on that website
en
also.
Amazon,
Everything's
they
on
have
that
the book
website.
as well. If you type it in Amazon, No More Cakes, it will show as well over there.
Yep, you can go to Amazon. It's a little bit cheaper. You get it for a few dollars less than on their website. And so what she does is she gives you about 3 or 4 different master
Vets,
recipes, which I just did
Te da
today.
Vets.
3 o 4
No More
recetas
Bricks is the
maestras
name
de
of the
cómo hacer el
book,
pan.
and
And the
Lori
neat thing
Vets
about
is
this
the
book, now we
author.
can't cover all this today, but I want you to be able to realize what you can do. She actually goes through and she explains lots of different things
Y
you
le
can do, like,
explica muchas otras cosas más.
like how to make that cinnamon raisin bread I just made. There's the picture for that.
Aquí está la foto de cómo hacer el pan.
She also shows you how to make all kinds of stuff, like calzones. Have you
Cómo
ever had
hacer
a calzone?
prácticamente estos.
Very easy. Once you have this dough can be able to work for so many different things. So once you mix it up, you can make 6 or 7 different things and have it all ready, pop it in the freezer, and you've got food for the whole week.
Y prácticamente pueden hacer con este aparato que ella tiene para amasar la harina,
She
muchos
shows you,
tipos de cosas
she shows
más.
you how to make like little buns and all kinds of little
Y
like
muchos otros tipos de formas de panes
how to also mix in different
y
grains.
pasteles.
Like for example,
Y con
I gave
diferentes
you.
otros tipos de granos.
I showed you how you can, and I made bread out of kamut, and it's excellent. It tastes almost kind of buttery and real soft. It's very good.
Y de hecho les mostré este otro tipo de grano, cómo podemos hacer es algo más suave.
But then
comparado
she
al
also
trigo.
explains in this book how you
Referring to
can use
kamut.
like a percentage of like this kind of grain, but then you can also add in, let's say, oatmeal, or you can add in millet or quinoa or different types of grains to your bread, and where you can totally start mixing, matching, and making. I mean, it's so awesome. It's fun and it's very nutritional.
Y ustedes pueden mezclar prácticamente diferentes tipos de granos y va a ser muy nutritivo.
So sky's the limit. That's the thing. We've given you the basics today,
El cielo
but
prácticamente es el límite. Le estamos dando algo básico, pero hay más información para ustedes.
and then I'm giving you the resources so you can actually begin to make your own home kitchen to be able to do this.
Y les estoy dando los recursos para que ustedes prácticamente en casa puedan hacer lo que ustedes quieren hacer con la harina.
And the blessing in this, and the difference that I found,
La diferencia que encontré en esto
is that most books that you get on whole grain baking, it takes about 4 to 5 hours to make bread.
se toma prácticamente entre 4 a 5 horas para hacer un pan.
But this method I've learned, as you notice, all we have to do, grind our flour, mix it, roll it out, it's rising, and then you pop it in the oven and it's done within about an hour and a half.
Prácticamente se toma hora y media, es simplemente moler el grano, después mezclarlo, hacer la masa y ponerlo en el molde y se toma una hora y media.
So it's much easier, it's much faster,
Es mucho más rápido y fácil.
The pan in the
and
bathroom
as
is
you can
covered
see,
up. The bread
and
is
some of you have
rising.
tried the bread so far, but you're going to try it here in a minute, and
Ahorita
it's
vamos a
great.
probar el pan y está muy bueno.
So it doesn't get any better than that. Now there's one other thing I want to touch on.
Hay
Did
una
you make-
cosa más que quiero hablar.
You guys have this chart? Okay, you guys all have this chart.
Tienen este libro,
Okay.
estas hojitas.
How's everything going here? Are you almost done? Right before we start, let's do that one. Oh, we have that one right there. And this one. Just a sec. This needs to be warmed up.
Behind this one, the planning menu. Behind the planning menu.
Just so it's-
It's behind the
Okay, I
planning
want you to
menu.
pull out this paper right here. You don't have this?
Some people don't have.
No lo tienen, I made several.
I think they're right here. Okay, whoever doesn't have one of these papers that talks about the different cooking time chart for cereals and grains, raise your hand and he's going to bring one to you, and I'm going to explain what that is.
How much time do you need?
I'll go over that.
Make
Okay, while he's passing that out, I want you guys to look up here, and I want you to see the difference here. Okay, this one's rising really nice. This one took a lot longer before also.
This is
and it's
the
because-
rising one, right?
Yeah, it just takes a little longer because it has more weight in there, so the yeast has to work harder, so I let it rise a little bit longer. But you're gonna notice with this one, when you put the right amount of dough in the right pan, and just so you know, these pans, these Norpro pans, I'm going to give you the size that I'm using. This is an 8-inch, okay? Because they have an 8-inch, they have a 10-inch, and a 12-inch. And that's going to depend on how much dough you put in the pan. If you put the wrong amount of dough in the pan, it's going to be like, it's not going to work good. Sometimes if you put 2 pounds of dough in here, it's going to totally like go over the side, and it's not going to be a very pretty loaf. And then if you put, so you need to put the right amount of dough. And she talks about that in that book too, exactly how much dough for each size pan. It's a really great resource. I tell you,
She did earlier when she rolled one.
I really would pick it up. It'll help you really get on the roll with bread baking. Okay.
She shows
So
the
anyway, so you can
difference
see
in
this one's
one
rising
and
really
rising.
nice. It looks beautiful. This one's going to take a little bit longer, and it normally takes about 30 minutes. But what you're going to look for is if you've got the right amount of dough in the pan, it's going to go about 1 inch above the pan, and then you're going to know it's ready. There's also another way to tell. Rob, when you push the bread when it's proof, does it actually hold in, or does it spring back?
Bring back a little bit, but your finger impression.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so how we'll know it's also done is you touch it, and it should spring back a little bit, but your little finger impression should stay a little bit. So this one, it's not staying very well, so I know it needs to go for just a couple more minutes. Does that make sense? Because it's almost about 1 inch above, but you're gonna poke it, and you should see your impression in the dough. Okay? So we're gonna let it sit a few more minutes. The other thing I want to point out is that I took a towel like this and I covered the dough. Now the reason for that is it's wet. I wet it and I put it on there. Now the reason for that is that how many of you guys have ever baked any kind of baked goods before? Now if you notice, if you let it sit and you let it expose to the air, what happens to the top of the crust? It dries up. And then what happens?
It won't rise.
It won't rise properly because that top of your dough needs to be able to expand with what's going on underneath it. If it crusts over, it won't rise.
Yeah.
Okay? So the reason that's why we're doing this right here, we wet our towel, we keep it from exposed to the air. And if you're going to notice, in a minute before I pop it in the oven, I'm going to make some water, and then I'm just going to brush water on top, just so that way it keeps it nice and moist. So that way in the oven, what's going to happen when we pop this in the oven is we're going to get something called oven spring. Okay? What oven spring means is, I'm sorry, we don't have translation, but they're getting all the food ready for you. Oh, can you
The
please?
wall, by
Okay.
the wall.
So anyway, just tell them that we just kind of put a little water on it to keep it from you.
Una toalla húmeda para que no se quiebre y mantenga la humedad, porque es muy importante que esté
Raise your hand
húmedo.
if you need one of these.